how discipline does not restrict, but it actually sets us free.
Yeah.
Because it gives us the perspective of what is the thing that I'm wanting to focus in on, and knowing how to take steps in that. Thinkless, what are we not thinking enough about? Join us as we evaluate our thought life. I'm Parker, and I'm here with my co-host, Amber. Welcome to the show. Amber, how are you today?
You know, some days are better than others.
Some days are better than others. You're right. You're right. So we both, we have talked on podcasts, obviously, several people that we listen to regularly.
Yeah.
We are always in the mindset of growth and focusing on growth and what can we grow in, develop in. Obviously, what can we shift our thinking about and think more about. But there's a guy named Craig Rochelle. Have you heard of him?
Yes.
Okay.
Love that guy.
Craig, he is the pastor actually of the largest church in America, not the world. There are, like, if you look at some of the Asian churches right now, like there are like
huge
hundreds and hundreds of some churches. Anyway, but I think Craig's church, which is called Life Church, I want to say they maybe have maybe 50 some locations, like physical locations in 50 different places.
Wow.
All across the States. It's pretty amazing.
That is.
Craig has a podcast. It's called Craig Rochelle Leadership Podcast. And he says something that, he says a lot of things that are brilliant, but something that he says that I think very much applies to what we're going to be talking about today is we are headed in the direction of our strongest thought.
Yep.
So, which communicates to me, the thoughts that we focus on are the direction in which we are headed. Throwing in the word focus on that quote. I'll make up our own quote.
That's good. That's like it.
Parker's quote.
We're going to take that on.
Exactly. I'm going to take that, throw it in my pocket and use it a lot. But yeah, we're headed in the direction of our strongest thought. Yeah. So what thoughts are we focusing on? And the power of that. Because I know for me, how many, I think this is a statistics on decisions, like how many decisions we make each day. What is that number?
So we make 35,000 decisions a day.
Okay. Well, that's a lot.
A lot. And I would say that's on average. So if you're a hard driver, my friend and I were talking about this yesterday. Actually, Chris that makes the film. And we're under so much every day. We were like, man, we must be making like 100,000 then a day, because it's just so much.
Well, some of those decisions are subconscious and some of them are
100%.
conscious,
The majority are subconscious.
For sure. It's like, okay, well, the decision, like the first decision that I made this morning was to shut off my alarm.
To wake up?
And to wake up.
Yeah,
wake up.
Okay,
so
we could go
my alarm, I don't know, everyone kind of has different methodologies, thoughts on alarms and how they want to get out of bed. Mine is actually my watch that I'm wearing right now. It just vibrates on my arm, and I just click either snooze or stop. And I always click stop because I wake up. I'm not the guy that hits snooze over and over and over and over again. I'm not that guy.
Yeah.
I used to be that guy, and that guy slept in way later than he needed to. So the first decision I made, though, was stop. Now, while that was conscious, it also has been the decision that I made so many times that it is just habitual.
Yep.
And it's a subconscious. So, okay. So anyway, 35,000 decisions on average, depending on the person, depending on the season, depending on what that looks like. But that means that while some of them are subconscious, while some of them are conscious, is that what we focus on also is thoughts that we're applying to each and every one of those decisions in some way, shape, or form. So if we are what we focus on, or if we are headed in the direction of our strongest thought, like 35,000 different thoughts or decisions that come up every single day, how do we stay focused on the direction in which we want to head if there are so many different things coming at us that we need to make decisions about?
It makes me, when we talk about focus, a couple things come to mind. One is, if you look at focus, if you're going to try to hit a bullseye, you have to look through the telescope that goes down to tiny small beam to try to hit the target way far away, right? Like either it's an animal or it's actually an actual target or whatever you're trying to focus on. Then if you take light and you have it big, like you can't see above us now, but there's a big light above us.
Yeah.
But if you take that light and you squeeze it down to a very, very pinhole, it can become a laser that can cut glass. So when you're able to take this broad, it's so much, and become laser focused, that's what that is. That's that whole statement, laser focused, when you can broaden out light, but then you can also narrow it down to very small. And that laser focus is what can cut through things, what can change things, what can propel things. Wow, it can kill things.
Yeah.
That ability to focus can weigh good and bad. And how to balance that. I know a lot of people that have crazy ability to focus. I mean, just majority of, if you look at Steve Jobs, Warren Buffett, Elon Musk, all of them have a crazy amount of ability to hyper focus, you would say, on something.
Yeah.
And become that laser. Now, that can be good and bad because you can get so laser focused on something that you forget about everything else.
Yeah.
And then you do damage to everything else and only succeed in the one laser focused thing.
Yeah.
So having balanced within the focus, then you can be so broad that the light just disperses over everything and nothing is actually getting done.
Yes. Absolutely.
And it's the balance between, how do I determine what gets so much of my focus? And I think part of what you tapped into was we have to evaluate our thought life because what we think about grows in our life. So if you're like, oh man, I'm depressed. Hey, I'm depressed. Did you know I was depressed? Guess what's going to grow in your life?
Yeah.
Depression.
Depression.
Yeah, depression. So we have to really start evaluating our thoughts and where we are.
I think we might have touched on this at some point, maybe in a prior conversations. We've had several conversations. So if we have, I'm sorry, bear with us.
Right.
But even like this phrase of like, I'm tired. Whenever somebody says, or busy, like it's so easy to let these things come out of our mouth. Yes, while we may be busy, while we may be tired. Like it is so easy to almost manifest these things while they may be real. It is easy to focus solely on them. Therefore, they then start to control everything about you. So the I'm tired statement, comes in with a conversation with a friend. It's like, hey man, how are you? And like, I'm tired. And then you go home and your wife is like, hey, how was your day? Oh, it's tiring. And then your child comes up to you and it's like, Daddy, let's play. And you're like, no, I'm too tired. So it's while yes, there are times and days and seasons of like, exhaustion and where you are just tired. But if I live in that state and if that is the thought that I'm focusing on, then I will head in that direction and I will be that.
And it grows. That grows. The tired grows.
Yes.
It's crazy, actually, when you try to debunk this theory. Okay. So I challenge. I would say if you're somebody that like thinks I'm tired all the time, change that language, take it out. Like you cannot say it again. I don't care if you're dragging a leg, right? You're exhausted, okay? And don't change it to another tired.
Like there needs to be a physical reminder for someone. Yeah. Whenever it's like I'm tired. If you want to remove that language, I feel like someone needs to slap you in the face every single time you say it and just be like, no, don't use it.
No, you know what I did one time?
Don't use it. What?
You know what I did?
What?
I put a rubber band on my wrist.
Yeah.
And every time I said it, I popped myself.
Did it work?
But yes.
But
there is a correlation though with responses like that in the brain when you're really trying to. Okay, again, this is me being that crazy person that's always challenging myself and always wants to learn. And I always want to debunk theories.
Yeah.
So I'm like, does that actually really work?
Yeah.
Does that really work? So I did that, and I think it works because it's another action. I mean, let's be real. I mean, I wasn't like,
yeah. It's just kind of like, a little tap.
It wasn't like super hard, but it was enough.
It was enough to get your attention.
It was enough to.
But what about the people that maybe don't have that, like, that level of like, okay, like I said it, and I know the rubber band's on my arm. Like somebody maybe needs someone like, hey, don't say that. So real quick example. And the team that I had in North Carolina when I was a part of a team there, we had what was called the fluff pillow. Whenever we'd share like feedback with someone, like if the feedback wasn't like, if it was kind of like, oh, like I don't want to hurt someone's feelings, like there would be a fluff pillow that we would slap the person with.
Okay, I was liking that because when you said fluff pillow and we had to go lay on this and be fluffy, I was like, I would have annihilated that program.
No. It was a pillow, not a fluffy pillow, but it was a fluff pillow that was like, if there's fluff in your feedback, then we hit you with a fluff pillow because like you're being too fluffy. Like this isn't helpful. This isn't helping anybody. But it was another person coming in and saying, okay. So anyway, that was
to hold.
That's why I think of physical altercation.
Yes, somebody to hold you accountable for what it is. And for me, that was always my best friend. And so we would always come up with these ideas, or I should say, maybe I come up with a lot of the ideas and then make her do it. But she's all health, so she like pulls grass out of the ground. Is like, eat it, it's really good. I'm like, oh my gosh, are you kidding? She's like, I did your rubber band thing last week, and I'm like, oh, okay. So we're always talking about it together and working on that for that accountability in that. But if you were just to take out that language, okay, because what you think on, what you focus on grows. That's why you can say that will become the trajectory of your life because it's what you're focusing on so much.
Yes.
So if you want to change where you're going, you got to change what you're thinking and what you're focusing on.
Yes.
That is way easier said than done.
Yes.
So if you take out the language altogether, for me, I'm an all or nothing person. Okay. Like, I'm not the one that's like, okay, let's just like kind of do the diet. I will annihilate. I will not do that at all. I will not do the diet. If you give me an option, I'm taking it. I have to give myself no options. It is yes or no. And so I choose to say, take it out altogether and choose the words you're going to change it out with. Okay. So instead of saying I'm tired, you're going to say, I am doing great today. I'm doing great today. I'm doing great today. I'm doing great. I don't care if you're crawling. I'm doing great today. Yeah. I'm doing great because I promise you won't be crawling. After some time of that, what it does in our body, what it does in our brain is absolutely miraculous.
I know.
It truly is. I had somebody call the other day and they're in a hard spot.
Yeah.
And he said, can you help me? I don't know if I'm supposed to be in this industry. I think I am. I want to have a career in it. I don't know where to start. My business is falling apart. All these things. And he's like, I've been doing this for so long in my life. I have been trying to start things and get somewhere and get, all these things. And he said, can you help me? And I said, how willing are you to read? And how willing are you to change your thoughts? It's my first question. We're going nowhere unless that changes.
Yeah.
I don't care what I tell you to do. Unless you can change your thought process and read to change it, which means counseling, talking to somebody else, seminars, books, something's got to change the way you think.
Yeah.
Because the way you have thought for all these years keeps getting you the results you're getting.
Yes.
So I'm not going to give you a magical pill. I'm not going to give you a magical phrase or statement. It is going to be work. Like you're going to have to be willing to put in, and that's changing your focus.
Yeah.
When you want to change your focus, you physically are going to have to work at that, like removing certain words, like inputting new information into your thoughts. And so it was like, all right, you've got to start changing the way that you speak about yourself, and you've got to start changing the way you see yourself. So we've got to get new information in you. So here's some podcasts, here's some books, here's some things you can do, here's some disciplines you can put in place. And after you've done those things, let's talk again. Because it's a process.
Yeah.
To change our focus is a process. It's not a one and done kind of deal, unfortunately. I wish it was. I wish I could have an aha moment in my life and then be like, and be done.
Made it.
Right. And we're there. It's a work.
Well, you said the word discipline, and there's a book, actually. I brought it today because it's by Jocko Willink. Have you heard of Jocko?
No.
Okay, so Jocko's a former Navy SEAL. He wrote a book called Extreme Ownership that is incredible. He has a podcast, which I highly recommend. I mean, but he's very just kind of, I mean, he was a Navy SEAL. So there's just kind of this mindset around like this is kind of life or death, like the decisions that we make are life and death. So the book is called Discipline Equals Freedom because like whenever we, it's kind of like this light. Like this light is so big that it extends and shows light on many different things. But kind of, I really like that example of like you bring it in and so like these boundaries, while the boundaries of the light can maybe feel restricting, it actually like narrows in and is able to focus on the thing that we are wanting to bring attention to and grow in and develop in and thrive in. And ultimately, as Craig, Rochelle, and what you're saying too, as far as like step in the right direction and head in the direction that we want. So anyway, this book has been really helpful. It's a really interesting book too, but this is kind of his whole concept of like discipline and how discipline does not restrict, but it actually sets us free. Because it gives us the perspective of what is the thing that I'm wanting to focus in on and knowing how to take steps in that.
Wouldn't you say, along with focus becomes how do you determine what your priorities are on what to focus on? You're like, how do you find what you should focus on and what you shouldn't focus on? Right? Like, I think that is a question I got as a counselor all the time. Still get it all the time. Especially like here at the studio, my studio manager will be like, come in. She'll be like, okay, what's priority? She's saying to me, what should I focus on today? What needs to move the needle today? Right? Because then you have the other things. So it's not like you can say, you know, we've gone over this in another episode before, my buckets, right? You've got your career bucket, you've got your family bucket, you got your personal bucket. And, you know, to try to find true success in all of that is to balance all those buckets together, not like just jump in one bucket and forget the other ones. Like, that doesn't work. Again, we're going to go back to that. I'm the all or nothing person, so I'm really good at jumping one bucket and forget the rest. I have had to say, where are the priorities in my life? What do I deem should get my focus? And then how do I set those parameters? So that I don't get out of focus in one of those buckets. Because it's so easy to do.
I just thought of this, but I feel like, what would somebody say that your priorities are, or what your focuses are, if they were to follow you around for a week? Or if they were to see your screen time on your phone? Like, what would, or if they were to see your calendar? Like, do your priorities reflect, or does your calendar reflect your priorities?
You know what I just thought of when you said that?
What?
This is crazy.
Oh my goodness, do you know what I just thought of? We're going back and forth.
Was, you know when you're on Instagram, on social media accounts, the things that right. You live there. No, I'm just kidding.
Not true. I have a 20-minute limit.
I was going to say, when you were talking about your screen time. When you stop on something, it gives you more of that. Like, it almost negates what your focus is. Like, it shows you what you're focusing on.
That is the beauty or curse of the algorithm.
Exactly. So if you go right now and look at your Instagram account or one of your social medias, what ads are you getting? Like, what ads are you getting? What are you getting more of? Who are they saying you should most likely follow? Or what is it that you focus on?
So a good indication of that is your For You page. And a majority of my For You page is meat.
Yes, this would be true. Yes.
As well as, this is bad, but as well as workout dudes. And different workout equipment.
And different workout
things.
But that shows you.
It's true.
Right, there is no.
It's true.
If you look at that, that will tell you right now, mine is a lot of Bible verses. That sounds like really good. I know.
Wow.
I
Cool.
know.
Mine is meat and dudes working out.
But I have been under so much pressure with all that I'm trying to do and accomplish.
Yeah.
And so I'm looking at it to feed me something.
Yeah.
Like I don't have time. I mean, I have for the mindless scrolling.
Yeah.
But not so much. You know, it's now become such purpose because it's media, the industry that I'm in. Mm-hmm. But that's what I noticed whenever you share an account. So like my husband and I share a Facebook account together. Oh my gosh. I'm like kicking him off. This is for real. Because my whole feed is getting full of soccer and flying. And I'm like, like I do not want to watch another soccer interview thing pop up or another flying video of this person flying. I need my people that are talking about Jesus. You know, I need, if I'm mindless scrolling, I need some kind of encouragement of some sort, right? Because I just need, if I'm going to waste time, I need to waste time giving to myself right now. That's not always. That's definitely not always. But if we're talking right now, that happens to be a season that I'm in right now. But it's also what you can change and use is a tool for you to help you focus in a way. Mm-hmm. So if you want to change your focus and your feed is full of junk right now.
Feed, and by feed, I like this language because feed like your mind, your schedule, like all the things. So I just want to bring clarity to that.
That's right. If you want to feed your mind and your life with good things, then go look up good things on your social media accounts. Like them.
Seek out good
Go
things.
seek them out. Like them, follow them, stop on them, the whole thing. And in a week, it'll change.
Yes.
Therefore, what you start to focus on will start to change. It's a helpful tool. Yes. Again, if you use it in the right ways, in a good way, it can. Mm-hmm. But it's a good telltale sign. Because here's the other thing. People that, I love this. People that are trying to lose weight. It's amazing.
Aren't we all?
Oh, yeah. Always.
Yeah.
Well,
I lost 50 pounds since our last episode.
It's amazing.
Can you tell?
I love when they're like, I don't ever eat anything.
Yeah.
I don't ever eat anything. I'm like, really? Because I've never seen a fat Ethiopian. They actually don't eat anything. I've been there.
Yeah.
Like they don't have food.
Yeah.
No. Or they're like, I work out all the time and can't lose weight. And I'm like, I've also never seen a fat marathon runner.
Yeah.
They do run every day.
Yeah.
And a lot.
Well,
it's that whole concept of like being real with yourself about what you are actually focusing on and how we can be blinded on what we are focusing on. That's why I say go to some of your telltale signs right now. Don't try to manipulate it. Go look at what you're focusing on.
Yes.
It'll tell you.
It will. It will. Yeah. No, I mean, just that, of course, that analogy of like what we put in ourselves is and I think of, so you use the marathon analogy, which I have seen as someone who has ran a couple marathons.
Yes.
There are sometimes people that are running these marathons and I'm like, how on earth are you running this marathon? Because of just the sheer size, but also it's a beautiful thing of like, okay, but we're all in process too.
Yes.
Where, to where it's like, man, like, well, I have to start somewhere.
For sure.
And so, and everything what you're saying is like, look at what you're feeding yourself.
Yeah.
And start by seeking out to feed yourself good things. And you have to define what good thing, what is the good thing? What is the thing? What is the thing that you want to feed yourself? And there's something interesting too, Justin, we'll continue in the Instagram analogy for a second, where like, if something does pop up that you don't want to feed yourself with, you can actually click not interested on that. So there is that practical thing of like, okay, I'm not interested in that. So same thing.
Get rid of it.
Like what is the thing that pops up? What is the thought? If we're headed in the direction of our strongest thought, what are the thoughts that are popping up that we can metaphorically say, I'm not interested in that.
Yeah.
Like I'm not interested in dwelling on that thought because just like our Instagram feed, we can focus in or we can spend time on something that maybe we shouldn't spend our time on. Same thing. We can spend time on a thought that maybe we shouldn't spend our time on that I can metaphorically say, nope, not interested in that.
Yeah.
Not interested in that. And I'm interested in this, whatever this is. So if it's discipline, I'm interested in eating right. Okay. well, I could. We had some donuts in the studio.
Yes, we do.
So I looked at the option and I was like, okay, we got fruit, we got kolaches, and we got donuts. What decision am I going to make?
Yep.
Like you can't, those are the options.
Yep.
Those are the options.
Yep.
So what decision am I going to focus on? Maybe what feels good, or am I going to focus on, no, what could set me up? What could set the rest of my afternoon up?
Yeah.
So anyway, that's a simple, stupid analogy. Sorry for calling anyone out.
But no. Well, I didn't have a donut. I'm just saying.
People on the other side of these cameras are maybe looking.
They love them. They love them. Oh my gosh, they love them. Yeah, and to clarify my analogies of saying, if you look at the whole thing to say that somebody that's heavier to run a marathon, or to say somebody in Ethiopia, it's the analogy to say that if you are a trained professional at something and you do it for a living, not like it's something that you just kind of put into your schedule, but it is what your living is, then that's a different thing. It's like, be honest with yourself with what you actually are doing. And what, it's like, you can't say, I'm not doing this. Like, so it's catching those thoughts of the realization of, what am I thinking? What am I actually doing?
Yeah.
How am I applying those thoughts? No doubt, are you going to have to hold a resistance to the bad thoughts you've been thinking? First, you've got to recognize them. First, you have to recognize your thoughts. I just have sat with so many people that say that their focus is, but don't get any results. Yeah, I question that. I just do.
Yeah.
Because there isn't anything in my life that when you put your mind to it, to do it, and you stay within the boundaries and disciplines of that you don't get results. It's life.
Yeah.
It's just how it works.
Yeah.
So you've really got to be real. In my opinion, that just starts to tell me, like, okay, there's a broken belief somewhere in here. There is a lie that we choose to believe is truth. And that's going to produce different results.
Yeah.
I mean, I can say I'm super organized, but my car looks like a bomb. Are you really organized? Or do you just want to be organized? Right?
Come on.
Like, there is you've got to really honestly, and I think that's the hardest part when you start looking at focus. You got to say, honestly, am I really focused on it? And then what are the goals that I need to see to say that my focus is there? And if I'm not achieving some of those goals, then maybe my focus isn't quite as focused as I thought.
Yes.
And that's where that accountability comes into play. Yes. When you have somebody that you're going to do something with. Like, my best friend just said to me a couple of days ago, she's like, all right, here's the deal. I will change my gym membership to come to your gym if you will work out with me every night. And I was like, not a chance.
That's a big expectation.
There's no way I could make that happen right now in my life.
Yeah.
But if you want to set a goal for, let's say, 3 nights a week, deal. But you're going to have to do the other 4, like, without me, or whatever that ends up being for her, right?
Yeah.
But being able to say, realistically, this is all the focus I can give to that. Realistically, this is all I can do. And then know that my results are a 3-day-a-week workout. So it is what it is. I'm not signing up for the next bodybuilder class or anything. But I mean, it is. But understanding that's all the time I have to focus towards something.
Yeah.
You got to start looking for the results. You have to start looking for the reality of what you're focusing on, and negating and kicking out false beliefs. If you'd asked me that like 5 years ago, and I'd be like, I'll do it. I can do that. I'm up for the challenge.
Yeah.
And I would have set myself up for failure.
For sure.
100%. I'm not going to do 7 days a week.
And then an unmet expectation, and then she would have been frustrated, and it would have been a whole thing.
Yeah.
Yes, for sure.
And so knowing where you should put your focus, knowing and seeing the reality of, are you actually focusing on that? Then to kick out the bad concepts that you have in your mind. Like you said, I don't think I want to do that anymore. I love your example of you decided I'm not ever going to hit snooze again. That's that black or white.
Yeah.
That's that hard line.
Yeah.
And that you said, nope, this is a decision.
Yeah.
That's what it's going to take to get some laser focus.
Yes, absolutely. Well, as we close, what we started this whole conversation with is what we are headed in the direction of our strongest thought. You posed that what we focus on grows. So I think just taking those two things, those will be incredibly helpful for people to identify and for people to recognize and for people to feed themselves with the things that they want to feed themselves with, rather than dwelling on things for a little bit too long when they know they should just swipe through. So cool. It was helpful, Amber. Thank you.
That was great, Parker.
Thank you so much for listening to this episode of Thinkless. We release an episode every Wednesday morning, so be sure to like, subscribe, share, or leave a review. It would mean so much. We appreciate you. Thank you.